just heading over here to the farm. Sorry, I closed the window. Nice down. I had to keep the window open because it's very warm. I'm just going to do a wee job over here on the bottom of our lane. We're just down the road actually a wee bit, because we've had a lot of rain last night. But I've noticed a lot of the rain is laying on the road. I'm just not able to get off it. So if you look down here in front of me for starters, just the puddle's starting to come. So it just means that the water can't get off the road. But you can just see here the water where it lays, and it becomes just pure muck and dirt with leaves falling off trees and things. So these gullies here, I open them every year. Same on this side. And I'll just let the water off and it'll keep this road dry and hopefully a lot cleaner. I better get on with it because this road, well, it's quiet enough. But as soon as you start to do something, it turns into the M50. You just get the bucket down, a little scoop out of it. I'll have to come back down here and just finish it off with the shovel. But I have opened it up here. You can just see I can't reach in here. Put the final bit. Just use the paw for now. There's the water running off the road now. Way into the drain. And same over here. The water's already gone off the road here. But I can't get down any deeper. Just with the way the bucket is, it keeps sitting on the road here and getting caught in the road. So, but I'll come down with the shovel and I'll just throw off what's left in the bottom of it, and I'll let all that away. And the same here, this is all gone now. You know what, my dad used to come down and do that kind of work there, and I used to always say to him when I was younger, 11 or 12 years of age, I wouldn't waste your time, that's the council's job. And here I am, a good few years later, doing the very same thing. My kids probably say the same. Now we're over into the farm here. So the reality is, sorry, there are going to be drops of water on the camera lens, but the reality is that all cattle, not just our cows, all cattle are going to be coming in very, very soon. We have grass, which the top of this hill's got lovely grass in it. Around the gap here is quite mucky, so I have electric fence. This used to be divided in two, if you remember, when we moved our heifers. So my electric fence, I took it down when I was slurrying, halfway down, so I could come across here and get into this side of the field. When I get the heifers up, I'm hoping they'll follow me up here, and then I'll catch the electric fence, which is over there, bring it back across above that tore up spot and to that upper post. So our heifers are down here in our reseeded field. You remember we moved them into it, and I said I'd get them out of it before they make a mess, which thankfully they've grazed it really well. But last night's rain has changed things dramatically, and as you can see down along here, they're making a wee bit of mess around the top of the hedge. Well, they're looking for a bit of shelter, that's why they're hanging around there, but nothing to cause any major problem. Just starting to tramp now, but they grazed it really well. Sorry, just getting windy now too, and I have no mic, so I'll put me back to the wind so hopefully you can hear me. But that'll work wonders for this field, so it'll thicken up now. It's great shape for the winter time. Well, it's it, put it that way. So you go on up there, girls. I'll meet you up at the top hopefully in a few minutes. You make some decisions in farming, a lot of time they're bad decisions, including myself. I make a lot of them, but I made a good decision back a week ago here. That was to move my battery fencer, to take it out and move it to a higher level where we have our newer fence, which we didn't have before. We always put our fencer in around here, but I decided to put it to higher ground up above only a week ago, just in case this had happened. If it had been there, that'd have been the end of that battery fencer. Right, you're off. I'll pick you up in a few days. Now, when you're explaining things about anything, it's always great to come back and actually show people the reasoning for doing jobs in a certain way. And I mentioned over in this corner about water and why we left this place uncovered. Well, there's your reason there now. So look at the gullion of water that's coming out of that there. Beforehand, that used to just go down that field in that corner. There was nothing we could do about it because of the big mould of clay or embankment that used to be here. So that used to all go down there and it used to flood that whole area. Now it's caught and across there into the drain and getting away. So it's probably right now when I look at it to not fill that with stone. Filling that with stone and taking that volume of water all winter long wouldn't be a good idea. It'd never work right. Our answer now if I questioned it before, is to leave that open. That's the way for that to run. Now the trick here is, will they follow me? They're coming so far, but there's a brat, as we call her, in the middle of them all, which she's too cute to do what she's told. Come on! The taste of fresh grass is hard to resist. Right, well that's the fence up for them there now. That should be them happy for at least another week. Another thing I did notice, and I've noticed it on my calves as well, is a cough starting to come on them. Now, my vet was here doing a test, and I mentioned to him a couple of little coughs coming on our calves, and I said I've done them about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. I think I filmed it as well. We've done them for fluke and worm, and we've done our heifers as well about 2 days after that. His response was, it's a very, very bad year for lungworm. Lots of farmers are dealing with cattle coughing now, and it's just the weather. It's all down to the bad weather. So we're going to put them back in again, and we're going to inject them with Ivamac or something like that. There's always something. It's never smooth sailing. Anyway, I want to get these calves fed here. They're in the back field now, munching away on the, what would be our back silage field, the west field that we have. But these girls here now, they're happy enough, but there is a cough there. But they are making a great job of the field by grazing it down. There'll still be a certain amount of old stuff that gets tramped into the ground, but a lot of it's been ate. Well, I'm going to go over here and move these trots to a different spot. I move them every second day to try to limit the amount of harm they're doing. Well, one there, it wasn't eating. I was just having a quick look behind to see what the problem was. She's a good healthy head on her, but she's a bull. That's the reason for that. She's just been lovable. It's the following morning, and I've got a bit of help with me here now, and we've put up tapes across. Coughing's a problem, definitely a problem, and it's something I don't want to leave on the long finger. By the way, look at the amount of midgets. That's about. They're biting like crazy, and this is only what, 10 o'clock in the morning. We're going to stick them in here into the crush, and hopefully they'll come out and play a ball. Might actually lift this gate off because it opens inwards, and the meal bin is kind of sitting in the way, and it's a tight wee spot, so if I open it in, they'll stand on the upper side of the gate, but if I take it off, they might just follow each other straight out. With calves, a lot of cattle, some of the worst things you could do is nearly go into the field and try to hunt them out, because they'll face you and they'll do anything but come out. But if you walk away from them, it could be a different story. It doesn't always work, but I find if you walk away from them, they'll follow you. Far, far easier than trying to hunt them out. So I'm going to tip down this part of the field, pretend that I'm not watching them. Cattle are very cute in their minds, and they know when you're trying to get them out of somewhere. But if you move away and act normal, you could get lucky. The last time we done these calves, you would have seen the drone up above us. The video was about 2 weeks ago, but the actual job was done 3 weeks ago. And we let them back into this field, which is behind that wall. We let them settle in there for about 3 days, and then we moved them where them trees are. You remember that video? And then a few days ago, I managed to move them into that backfield, and it's wet. And I noticed as soon as they went into the backfield is when the problems really started to come. This coughing started, just like what you're after here and there. When we dosed them the last time, we didn't have any coughing. It was the first one we'd actually done for fluke and worm. The first ones were all done with just an ordinary white dose panicure, for instance, in case anybody wants to know. We've used it a few years now, and we don't want any resistance being built up, so we'll change over to a different medicine. Tamazole we use, again, it's another dose we're going to have to change, because we use it a lot on our cows as we put them dry, and it's fine to use in these cattle as well. That was the first time they got a dose of that. So they were done about 3 weeks ago, maybe a little more, but it didn't take effect, and that's just the reason why they're back in. So the vet recommended to use, what have we got? So I've used Ivamac before. A lot of people will, if you're farming, would have come across it. This one we're using today is Ivamac Super. It's a little bit more expensive, but it covers for a lot of different things, especially worms, a lot of different worms at different stages. So let's stick them in and get to it. One thing I should have shown you there is I took the temperature as well. A couple of them, just picked out a few of them that were coughing, took their temperature, and they don't have a temperature. The reason I do that is just virus pneumonia, just to keep an eye that that might be an underlying cause of it too, but it's not. These midgets are just something else. Absolutely swarm with them. 2 weeks have passed and we have them back in the crush here now. And I'm just checking them over now. Just as I turn the camera on, a wee cough, but the one that I really wanted to bring them in for, and that's that one. We'll talk about her in a second. But she's the only one that coughed. The rest of them, oh, it seems to be relatively quiet. The time I notice the coughs more so is in the mornings when I come over here. This morning, like for instance, was very, very cold. We had a frost last night. Now it's 11 o'clock, it's starting to, with the sun, anywhere the sun is, it's starting to get mild and nice and warm in the sun. That recipe is always a bit of a problem when it comes to respiratory infections or pneumonia and things like that. Once you get a nice warm day of sunshine and then get a cold frost, cold air at night. Now this morning I come over, there's a few of them coughing. None coughing now, the air is not as sharp. But one animal I noticed that I'm not happy with is 16. She's there somewhere. We're going to get her into the crush. I want to check her temperature because she didn't eat an awful lot of meal this morning and she was slower to come to the trot. And if she has a temperature, we're going to treat her. And we might actually put her into the house for a couple of days because we'll be treating her for a few days anyway, just until she comes back to her farm. So I see her there now, over again the wall. There she's there. She's one of the bigger ones, but you just, everything about her body language just isn't what it should be. I'll do. There. She's a lot livelier than she was this morning. She wasn't in great form this morning now, but seems to have changed. So I'm going to just take her temperature first. Another thing I'm just checking as well is she has no discharge around her nose. No, not really. Well, a bit actually. You know, when you look again, there's a bit there. The temperature we have is 40.6. So yes, we have an infection there. There's another one over there as well, 20. I want to check her as well, and I don't hear any rest of them coughing. But we're going to just walk them around the yard a bit, and if I do hear another one cough, we're going to take a few temperatures, just check a couple of different animals and see what they are like. Well, my bale didn't go too well. It collapsed. I haven't got my grape with me.
Yeah.
Where is it? Oh, she has it. All right. Oh. And me doing this here and you had the grape the whole time. Enjoying watching me be tortured. My Jesus, look at that. We have 4 kept back. And I just put in a bale of silage there. I didn't want to split the bale because these will never ate at all. But hopefully they'll not be in that long. We'll see how it goes. But my idea didn't work. It fell apart anyway, so I might as well have split it. But these are the ones that are in. We'll just have to keep a closer eye on these. My audience across and my heifers are looking. They're actually going in the next couple of days too. But we're also giving these calves, we've only started about 2 days ago. We're giving them a powder called CTC powder. And we just mix it in their meal, mix it in, and we'll treat them for about 7 days with that. So today is only their 2nd day. The rest of the calves that were coughing are not coughing any longer. The only issue that I had was my grape breaking, and my thermometer that I just literally, well, Sinead literally picked up for me this morning is completely dead. The battery in it is done. So I was only fit to take 3 other temperatures, and the first one as you seen was 40. It read 41 point something first, and the next one I took was 40.6. So it's a kind of all over the place. But the other 2 read around 39. Which is still high, and above 38 or 100 degrees Fahrenheit, if you want to call it, is when you know there's something up. So the CTC powder works wonders on them. But with these ones, they're going to be getting about 10 cc's of pharmacin as well each day now for the next 4 to 5 days. And we'll give you an update, maybe the next video, the video after, of how they're done. It's just gone 6:15 and I'm finished this evening's milking. We started a wee bit earlier. I'm going to service the milking machine. We have quite a few pounds worth of rubber sitting there between them 2 bags and that box. Now you've seen us doing minor services on this machine. Every 6 months we change our liners and our pulsation tubes, but I don't think you've ever seen us change our main line, our main milk line. This pipe here comes from the cluster that's obviously on the cow. That goes up along here and then it joins through a mount here that basically holds it in place, and that is just a stainless steel sleeve, like a joiner. The two ends just freely push onto, and then that brings it right in here to the jar. This other guy that runs alongside it, well, this is our pulsation tube. This is what causes a vacuum of pulse in under this shell here, where you have a rubber under that shell and you have a chamber which causes a vacuum which basically squeezes, just like squeezing a cow's teeth by your hand. It does the same thing. Just be real careful because you can break the top of that jar off. Then you'd be in a bit of bother. Just a matter of breaking the seal. Twisting it is the best idea. Once you break it, it should pop off easy enough. Now here is our section of pipe taken off. Now this is a good guide for me because I can use that now as a template for all the other ones. They all should be exactly the same length. Just gonna mark that up then along here with this one. You might hear doors banging. It's quite windy actually outside. The weather's been fairly decent. Last wee while now this evening it's got windy. That's why you hear the doors banging. It's not somebody held hostage in a room or anything. Never do that. That's it. Now, another little thing to do is just run your blade just on the top, the pipe like that. Just split it a little bit on both sides. That just allows it to go into the claw piece. There is one unit fully replaced, MIG and pulsation tube lines. Once you get into a bit of a stride, you do it in about 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do now is going to continue on here the whole way down and do every single one of them. And one last job for me to do tomorrow. So I'm going to tear on at this and we'll pick this up when I'm done. So an hour later, we have quite a mess of old pipes on both sides to gather up. Lots of old plastic and bits and pieces, but all our pipes are now replaced. I just have to cut off some of the zip ties now, go around and do that, and just gather all the rubbish. But that's all I'm going to do this evening. That's a big part of it done. Tomorrow evening, or maybe tomorrow during the day, if it depends if it's rain or not, I'll come along here and replace all these wash pipes as well that's coming down. It's the kind of work I be doing kind of off camera that I don't really film at night. I enjoy walking away for about an hour or so after making it in the evenings, and it's quiet. And it's just a nice time to get things done. Right, so I'm just running the hot wash through it now. That's the final thing to do. Just to sterilise everything. And that's that job ticked off the list. Plenty more to go. Thanks for watching. See you